Hello everyone, my name is Maruku and welcome back to What If Deku Had a Werewolf Quirk. So let's get started. Izuku has barely finished telling Bakugo the majority of his story leading up to now, and Bakugo is deeply troubled at everything he's heard. He says to Deku, "So you're telling me that Auntie Inko literally, and we mean literally, not figuratively at all, took you into the middle of a forest and dumped you there and told you to stay?" And Izuku says, "Yeah, she did. She did do that to me." Izuku then continues by saying, and that about how he doesn't feel that like pure hatred for his mother. He just doesn't want to go back. Bakugo and obviously Ochako understand why, and Bakugo just puts his hand into his face and he says, "Man, that is some messed up crap right there, man. I can't believe you even survived. Like how are you still alive after having to live like that for so long?" Izuku said, "I don't know. Literally, I took it one day at a time. Mind you, it's like I told you, I almost starved. Purely because I had that hope, that beautiful little hope in my heart that Mom would come back. But she didn't. She never came. She abandoned me. I'm pretty sure she had hoped that either something would come and eat me, or I'd starve to death, but obviously, I'm here. I persisted. I survived through all that hell. And I'm glad. As crazy as it may sound, you can call me crazy if you want. I'd gladly do it again to get to where I'm at right now. Because where I'm at right now, I have Ochako. I've got all of Class 1A. I got you back. My best friend. Honestly, I don't know what more I could ask for. I mean, it may sound crazy to say that I would do it again, but it's true. Really true. Because I wouldn't give any of you up or for anything. I wouldn't give up the meeting Ochako. I wouldn't give up helping people. I just wouldn't. Because despite how hard I struggled and toiled and all that, I got my reward. I was blessed for all the hardship that I had to endure. And I'm happy. I earned this. I earned this as my reward for going through all of that. And as much as it sucked, I can't bring myself to hate her. As weird as it sounds. Ochako scoots a little closer and wraps her arm around Izuku and says, "I wouldn't give you up for anything either, sweetheart." Deku just kind of curls into her a little bit, enjoys having her wrap her arm around him, and Bakugo is understandably upset at hearing everything that Izuku went through, from being burned, attacked, fighting crime as a vigilante, which he thinks is cool, and starved in the beginning, left in the cold. He's happy that Izuku had come this far and had achieved so much, but at what cost? Really, at what cost? He He just suffered. Bakugo stood up and went over to Izuku and wrapped him in a hug, saying that he's not going to let his mom hurt him again. That if she wants to take him back, that she'll have to go through his dead, cold corpse to do it, because he doesn't deserve to be treated so poorly by his mother, who should have loved him. Izuku is comforted by the fact that his best friend is so passionate about this. It brings a smile to his face, and he can't help it. He's enjoying this. The comforting, the accompaniment, all of it. He pulls away from the both of them and says that he's okay, that he really is, that they don't have to worry so much about how he feels, that he's come to terms with the fact of everything that's happened to him. So it's better to leave what's happened in the past and not reminisce on what could have been, when he's happy with what he has now. Though he does kind of think about how the sports festival is, kind of shown on TV, and he asks them, he's like, by any chance, Bakugo, do you know if my mom watches the UA Sports Festival? And Bakugo goes, yeah, she usually comes by every year and watches and that's when the pin drops. He's like, oh shoot, we've got a problem. Izuku then kind of follows up with, you don't think that she'd, bring hell down on us, right? You don't think my mom would come? And Bakugo goes, dude, I'm not worried about your mom, I'm worried about mine. If there is one thing I know, one thing for certain, it's that the old hag does not play around. So if she's sitting at home with your mom watching it together, she's not going to let it go. She's not going to let it slide for long. She's going to rain hell on us, your mom, and everything in between. You'd better hope that my mom did not see you on TV. Who am I kidding? They probably, you were literally the superstar. For a huge majority of everything. They're gonna know, everyone's gonna have seen it. Oh Lord, we are in some deep, deep mess right now. Oh Lord. And Ochako's like, maybe we're good. Maybe they skipped it this year. Maybe they did. Let's just hope, and I'll go to hope, that things stay quiet. And by tomorrow, actually, by tomorrow we'll have our answer. Either she went to Izuku, your mom comes, and the collective of me and Bakugo are gonna have to beat her up for having pulled some crap on you. Which I'm actually kind of hoping for that answer. Or number two, she points at Bakugo, his mom's gonna come over with your mom and raise some hell. Obviously freaking getting on Bakugo, pointing at him again, for not saying that he saw someone that looked like Izuku, number one, and or freaking that more than likely she's gonna tear up Inko too. But Izuku goes, yeah, I get the picture. That she's going to basically cause a huge hissy fit because of the fact that she possibly saw me on TV. Honestly, I really just want to go to bed now that I've kind of hit this revelation. Baka goes, "You want to go to bed? You forget I still live with her. At least you can hide away over here. I have to go face her." And then he goes, "Hey, by chance, you wouldn't mind me staying over for over here for the night, right? Like I'll do anything. I will owe you as many favors as you want. Just let me sleep on the couch. You don't even have to give me a pillow or a blanket. I will go as far as sleep on the floor if I have to." Izuku kind of feels bad now that he's thinking about it, because, yeah, if Bakugo does end up going home, he's going to have a lot of hellfire to face. He's like, okay, here's the deal. I'm willing to let you sleep, like, on, like in the corner, like or like the corner room, right? Because I'm gonna say that their little dorm room thing it's bigger than what it was the in the dormitories, like in canon. Like, it's a little bit bigger because they're like the only ones there, and it's like kind of a bit more like a special grade, I guess you could say. Like, if I was to kind of explain the layout, I'd say that it looks like one of those kind of like those like really fancy hotels, like where it's like you walk in and you got the you have like a 2-room setup, like where it's like you've got like 2 little bedrooms to it and like a little living room that has like an attached kitchen. It's kind of like that. The only thing is that the other room is kind of like a guest room kind of thing. Like Izuku and Ochako haven't really, what's the word I'm looking for, made use of it yet. So yeah, they're doing this now. He's like, okay, thank you, y'all are godsends. He's like, Izuku goes, yeah, I get it, okay. You can stay here for the night, yep. But like, the fact of the matter is that like your best option right now is to like send your mom a text saying staying over at a friend's, and then immediately turn that thing off, because like, if my memory serves correct, she is going to like she really was a very feisty one, and Ochako like doesn't understand because she's like looking at Izuku like, is she really that bad? And like Izuku is like communicating with his eyes, yeah, she really is that bad. And so, you know, they go through the night and all that, and then I'm gonna say that technically it's not a school night, like after the sports festival it leads into like the weekend kind of. I don't know if it actually was that, like in canon, but I'm for the purpose of the story, I'm gonna say that it is, right? And so they wake up the next day, and I'm gonna say that Izuku gets up, he starts cooking breakfast for the 3 of them, since Bakugo is officially a guest, right? And and all that, and so after they have breakfast, things seem calm. They seem calm at the moment. It's only gonna last the moment, but I'm gonna say that like after they eat, they're like, okay, let's hope that this nice, simple peace lasts the next 2 days. Hopefully it does. right? Like they're trying to be very logical, rational, everything in between. And more than just hoping, they're praying at this point, like really hoping that this doesn't get out of hand. But they go out, and as Izuku and them are leaving the apartment, I'm gonna say that Izuku gets a call on his phone that, coming from Principal Nezu, right? And Izuku's like, so much for peace, right? But he answers the phone like, I'm gonna say that Nezu and them gave him a phone. If like, I can't remember if I specified that he has a phone before, but like if not, I'm gonna say that it's a present from Nezu to him or whatever. But he gets a call from Nezu, and there's like, young Ulfer, we have someone here that would like to have a word with you. And Izuku's like, oh yeah, they definitely saw the video. Anyway, Izuku's like, do you mind telling me how many people are waiting for me? He's like, oh yes, I believe that there's 2. Izuku just puts his hand to the bridge of his nose, like, oh great, this is not gonna be fun. But he's like, how long do I have to get there? He's like, is there a problem, young Ulfer? And Izuku's like, yeah, do you mind making sure that, like, absolutely sure that they can't hear what's being said over the phone? It's like, that's kind of hard since the phone was on speaker. I'm like, oh great. It's like, take out speaker. It's like, no need to be belligerent. Calm down, young Ulfer. Here, give me a second. You can hear an audible click of a noise. He's like, okay, now that the phone line is more private, what would you like to say? He's like, Nezu, can you do me a favor and get rid of them? He's like, why? He's like, because I don't want to see them. It's like, nope. I expect you here in 5 minutes. Izuku, and then you hear the sound of the call dropping out immediately, as to give Izuku no way to argue his way out of this. He's like, damn it. Oh, great. And Bakugo's like, let me guess. Your mom and the hag are in Nezu's office. He's like, yup. And how long do you have to get there? He's like, I got 5 minutes. 5 minutes, huh? With in your full werewolf form, I'm pretty sure you could get from here to Hosu, but I'm pretty sure Nezu has eyes like at every possible exit of the campus, so I'm pretty sure that if you try and run, you're not going to get very far. And he's like, Bakugo, I let you stay in me and Ochako's apartment. I'm going to need to cash in the favor. He's like, oh my, you're dragging me into this. He's like, I need protection and I need emotional support. You're the protection, she's the emotional support. And he's like, okay, I understand that this is going to be a very difficult thing for you. But I'm not in the mood to be smacked over the side of the head by my mom. He's like, dude, please. I need this. And he's like, fine, okay? Fine, I'll go with you. But if my mom hits me, you're on your own. I'm not dealing with the hag today. I'll fight your mom, but not my mom, bruh. She will smack me so hard over the head, I'd probably be the next one to get amnesia. He's like, not funny, man. He's like, okay, I get it. Now's not the time for joking, but let's get this going, okay? So they make their way to the campus, and Izuku is just dreading. He's like, come on, there has to be a way for me to get out of this. And he's hoping, but unfortunately his hopes don't go very, very, very far. And as he's walking down the corridor, Aizawa kind of spots him and says, "You okay, problem child?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I'm just on my way to go see Principal Nezu to see my abandoning mother and my best friend's very angry mother as well." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I need your help. Since you have now put yourself in this position, as tired as you are, I need your help." He's like, "Okay, I'll go with you." And Aizawa, like, he goes up to the door and he's like, and Izuku's like, "If you can get him to go away before I have to go in there, I will be in your debt." He's like, "Okay." So Aizawa, like, he knocks, like, before he's able to knock on the door, he hears a "come in," and he opens the door, he puts his head in, he's like, "Nezu, why are you torturing the boy?" It's like, "Oh, because it's because, you know, the trying to figure out the whole situation is very needed for purposes of entertainment, my dear Aizawa." He's like, "Curse you, you rat." He's like, "What was that?" "Nothing." Aizawa kind of like looks over towards the woman, bit plus size, who's green, with green hair that resembles Izuku's, and he goes, "Yeah, I feel that that I'm within my rights as his teacher to come in and monitor things." And he says, "Yeah, that'll be fine, Aizawa." Aizawa, like, peers his head back out the door. He says, "Sorry, you're still gonna have to come in, but I promise to do it as much as I can to help you." And Izuku starts basically, like, he goes into the room, and the moment he sees the reminiscent green hair and blonde hair, his stomach begins to drop. And Bakugo kind of like moves in front of him, while Ochako kind of like wraps her arm around, like, from behind him. Like, she has her arms kind of like wrapped around him, and she's pressing her head into his back to kind of like help him, like, kind of like stay stable and all that. And Nezu's like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting young Bakugo and young Uraraka to be accompanying you as well, young Ulfer." And Mitsuki kind of like, she kind of like pops, like a pop sock, going, "Why do you keep saying young Ulfer? Who the hell is Ulfer? Why are you calling for an Ulfer? We said that we want an Izuku Midoriya." And Nezu's like, "Oh, sorry about that. The boy says that he goes by Izuku Ulfer, so I figured that he would only respond to Izuku Ulfer." And like, Inko, like kind of like tries to turn her head around and look at Izuku, but like all she can see is Katsuki in front, like standing in front of someone with a girl who has brunette hair and like rosy cheeks, kind of like a little behind them, but there's obviously someone between them, and she can noticeably see like green ears and a massive tuft of green hair kind of like peeking out from behind Bakugo in certain points. And then when Mitsuki turns around, she tells Bakugo, he's like, "And Katsuki, why are you here of all things?" And Bakugo is like, "I'm merely here to support my best friend." And Mitsuki's like, "Well, why is he hiding behind you?" Bakugo looks at his mother and goes, "So I assume that Auntie Inko hasn't told you anything, has she?" And Mitsuki's like, "No, she hasn't. What's going on? When did Izuku come back?" And Bakugo is like, "Well, that's kind of hard to explain. Due in part that I barely realized that he had returned." And Izuku is like, "Kachan, I think I'm fine. I need to be brave right now. I just if something comes up or then cover for me, okay?" He's like, "You sure, Izuku?" He's, yeah, I'm fine. I need to face this, okay?" He's like, "Okay." Bakugo steps to the side a bit, and Izuku's eyes are pointed straight to the ground. And Mitsuki's the first one to get up, and Aizawa's like, "Whoa, slow down." It's like, "Why? I want to hug him. I haven't seen him in a long time. He was like a second son to me." And Izuku, he starts to tear up a little bit, and he kind of like opens his arms a bit, gesturing for Mitsuki to come over to give him the hug that she was initially going to, and she rushes over and gives him a big old hug. She's like, "Oh, it really is Izuku, isn't it?" He's like, "Hi, Auntie Mitsuki. It really has been a while, hasn't it?" And she says, yes, it has been, Izuku. And in the meantime, Inko starts to stand up, and she turns around fully to face her son. And when Mitsuki like pulls away, she kind of puts her hands on his shoulders, and one hand on his shoulder, one hand on his face, said, "Oh, look how big you've gotten, Izuku. I remember when you were so small and you'd come over to see Bakugo, and I've missed you, Izuku." And he says, "I missed you too, Auntie Mitsuki." And Mitsuki steps aside, and Nezu kind of speaks up and says, "Young Ulfer, I see that you know one of our guests, but tell me, do you know who this woman is right here?" And he obviously indicates over to Inko. He's like, "Principal, I have no idea who this woman is." And Inko puts on a very hurt face, and she looks down, and Mitsuki is surprised. She's like, "Wait, what do you mean you don't recognize her? That's your mom, Inko." He's like, and Izuku says, "My mom? Oh, I forgot. You said that she hasn't told you anything." "Well, I regret to tell you, Mitsuki, that's not my mom. It's not. My mom is you, and my mom is her mom. Or basically, the staff here is my family. My real family." And Mitsuki's like, "What do you mean, Izuku?" He's like, "Oh, well, the fact is, as they see them, my birth mother abandoned me in a forest, cold and alone, when I was 5 years old. And I've been essentially like hoofing it for the past 10 years. I'm sorry to break the news to you now." And Mitsuki looks over to Inko, and Inko is crying at this point. And she looks up at Izuku, and she says, "I'm so sorry, Izuku. I don't know what came over me. I really don't." And Izuku laughs. He's like, you don't know what came over you? What came over you was the fact that you couldn't look at your son, who was developing his quirk, and couldn't accept that he was a transformation type, a mutant quirk. You couldn't accept the fact that my quirk was a mutant type. That made me into a proud werewolf. And she's like, "Izuku, that's not..." "No, oh yes it is. Because if you really did love me, then why did you put me in that forest? Why did you tell me that you'd be right back, that not to move from my spot? If that's not an attempt to either have me eaten by the wildlife or starve to death, I don't know what is. Woman." That hurt. Inko took a step back and from just by how much that hurt. Then she returns her gaze to Izuku and says, "I'm sorry, Izuku. I really am." And Izuku shoots back with, did sorry fill my stomach 10 years ago? Did sorry keep me warm? Does sorry fix the fact that I had to endure loneliness, being ridiculed by people around me on a constant basis, to where they even deem me a demon hound, just because I tried to help some people using my new powers? Does sorry fix the fact that for all the times that I was burned, cut, beaten within an inch of my life? And Inko looks down and feels defeated. And Izuku goes, You lost the right to call me your son when you ditched me in that forest. You lost the right to call yourself a mother when you did that. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is going to fix the damage you've caused, Inko Midoriya. I'm Izuku Ulfer now. I don't need you. Why would I want a mother who would abandon her child just because she is afraid of his quirk? And it's not like I was going to hurt people. I would never do that. And yet you ditched me. Threw me to the wolves. Left me to starve. To freeze to death. And yet you think you have the right to still consider yourself my mother? Izuku can just feels Ochako's arms tighten around his back, and he says, "It's okay. I'm fine." Because Ochako could feel the quiver in his voice as he started to lose it to feel himself crumbling. She was merely trying to hold him together the best she could. Bakugo was crying too. Not profusely, but tears were welling up in his eyes, having to hear Izuku's pain. Mitsuki is horrified at what she's hearing. She's horrified that her friend would do such an abhorrent thing to her own son. She's appalled, disgusted. She doesn't know whether to say something or not. What she does know is that her feet move before her mind can finish processing, and she slaps Inko across the face and tells her, "How could you do that to a poor Izuku? How?" And Inko is just defeated at this point. But Mitsuki goes, "Why? What was going through your head, Inko? What?" And Inko says that she doesn't know. That she's regretted it ever since she did it. But then Izuku laughs. He's like, "Regretted it? If you regretted it, you would have come back to me. But you didn't. If you're so regretful for the fact that you ditched me, then how come you never came back?" Inko, having lost that argument, puts her head back down and says, "I'm sorry I came here. I'll excuse myself now." And she begins to walk out of the office. Mr. Aizawa and Mitsuki walk over to Izuku, and Mr. Aizawa leans down to meet eyes with Izuku and says, "You gonna be okay, kid?" Izuku lifts his head and says, Yeah, I'll be fine. I just, it was a lot. That was a lot to face. Mitsuki hugs him again and says, "I'm so sorry you had to go through that, Izuku. I'm so sorry that you had to go through such pain." And Izuku lets out a giggle. He says, "What are you apologizing for, Aunt Mitsuki? You did nothing wrong. It was that woman's fault that I ended up here. But I'm happy now. I have a girlfriend and my best friend back." And Mitsuki, her ears perk up when she hears, "You got a girlfriend?" He's like, "Yep." That would happen to be the brunette beauty who is tightly clinging to my back. And Mitsuki kind of leans over and finally kind of acknowledges the brunette hanging on to Izuku for dear life. And she goes, "Oh, hello. I'm Mitsuki. I'm Bakugo's I'm Bakugo's mom." And she loosens her grip around Izuku and goes, "I'm Ochako Uraraka. It's nice to meet you." And Mitsuki looks over to Izuku and goes, "Wow, you really know how to pick him, don't you, Izuku?" And Izuku kind of goes a little bit red at that. He's like, "Aunt Mitsuki." He's like, I'm kidding, Izuku." "Well, it's nice to meet you, formally, Ochako. I'm technically, he calls me Aunt Mitsuki, but I've always seen Izuku as my second son. Whenever he, growing up, whenever he would come over, he'd always play with Bakugo, and I distinctly remember you having like a lot of All Might merchandise at your house. It's like, oh yeah, I did. I really did. And he's like, speaking of that, do you think at some point when you get the chance you could go collect my things from that place? She's like, of course, Izuku, of course. I'd be glad to get your what's left of you from her house. She doesn't deserve to have your things anyway. It's like, thank you, Aunt Mitsuki. And she hugs Izuku one last time before dismissing herself, and Izuku just kind of like breathes in and lets out a big sigh. She's like, that was painful to go through. And Bakugo like comments, yeah, that was painful to watch, honestly. Though I don't imagine my mom is going to just make this a one-off thing. I imagine she's going to come visit you as often as possible. And Izuku responds with, oh, I'm definitely sure she's going to try to come visit as often as possible. Hell, it wouldn't surprise me if she tried, because if there's one thing I know about that woman, she is ambitious as hell. Though, to be fair, Uraka said, to be fair, she didn't seem like she was all that bad. I mean, she got to smack that woman. It's like, yeah, that was that. And Bakugo actually commented, yeah, that was actually kind of satisfying to watch her get slapped. And Ochako commented on the fact that she's glad that things got sorted out between all of them, and and Izuku goes, Principal Nezu, if you don't mind, I would like to return back to my dorm. I feel like I've had plenty of excitement for enough today. And Nezu goes, of course, young Izuku, young Ufer, you may leave. And Izuku bows and dismisses himself back to his apartment. And Izuku tells Ochako that he's going to go back to the apartment, that if she wants, she can go hang out with the girls she can hit up the girls and talk to them for a little bit, but he just kind of wants to be alone right now. And Ochako can understand. He's overstimulated. He needs to sort out through his thoughts, and it's best not to poke to look a gift horse in the mouth. So she lets Izuku have his personal time to reflect on the events of today and having to see his neglective mother. And she takes out her phone and she texts the girls of 1A, and she asks if any of them are free right now to hang out. And as she's typing this out, Bakugo looks over to Ochako and says, "Hey, thanks for taking in the nerd and treating him well." She's like, "Of course, Bakugo, of course. I mean, he did save me after all. I mean, it's the least I could do, be there for him." Bakugo's like, "Yeah, that's not what I mean. Literally, you have always, ever since you found him, you've been there the whole time. But I don't think you're only doing it just because of the fact that you feel indebted to him. I'm pretty sure that that's more than that." She's like, "Of course, I love him. he's my boyfriend. What other reason would I need to be there for him than because I love him? She's like, yeah, that's my whole point. You love him and all, but like the fact that you're putting up with so much baggage, you are one hardcore chick. She's like, well, I wasn't hardcore. I couldn't exactly stand side by side with him. Like, could I? He's like, fair. And she asks Bakugo while the texts are flooding in from the other girls what his plans for the day are, and he's like, honestly, after all that, I'm kind of riled up too. I'm gonna go see if I can burn off some steam in one of the training rooms. She's like, okay. But Uraka finally gets gets all the texts that she needs, and she sets up a kind of hangout time between the girls, and it's kind of mutually acknowledged between the three of them that they're not going to talk about this incident with anyone else that was not present today. And so Ochaka's not going to tell the girls about what happened and all that, and so, but she hangs out with, I'm going to say, Jiro, Sue, Momo, and Mina. Yeah, these 5 girls are going to hang out. And as they're, and like, I'm going to say that they all go out to a cafe together and in town, and when they get there, they all sit down and they start talking, and Mina starts talking about how she's impressed that she got as far as she did in the sports festival, and it's this basic conversation, and then Ochako kind of notices that Mina is talking about started talking about Kirishima, and Ochako decided to kind of push it. He's like, so Mina, since you bring up Kirishima, I wanted to ask, is there anything between you and him? Because whenever we were talking in the cafeteria, you seemed to go to be a little bit shy about the conversation. She's like, what? No. And the other girls are kind of getting in. I was like, come on, Mina, are you sure there's nothing between you? She's like, girls, come on, this isn't funny. It's like, hey, but you would have done the exact same thing to us if the tables were turned. She's like, don't use logic against me. You know that I can't win. She's like, that's the point. That's the point, Mina. But essentially, she's like, fine. I admit it. I have a thing for Kirishima, and the girls are like, finally you admit it. But Mina, because she's upset now that she's been kind of exposed, she's like, well, Sue, what about you and Tokuyami? I've seen y'all hanging out a lot lately. And Sue, her face goes red. She's like, Mina, Tokoyami and me are just friends. There's nothing to talk about there, kiddo. And now Ochako has turned her attention to one of her besties. She's like, Suyu, Mina makes a good point. I have seen you sitting next to Tokoyami a lot during whenever we have lunch in the cafeteria. So I'm curious exactly how do you feel about Tokoyami? She's like, well, he's nice, kiddo. And Mina's like, oh, he's nice, huh? She's like, yeah, Tokoyami is a good friend. They're like, You kind of seem suspicious, who you? And Sue goes, well, 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 what about Jiro? I seen Jiro with sitting with Kaminari lately, and Jiro's like, what? Hey, don't deflect this on me. And Mia's like, ooh, Jiro and Kaminari. Now that's an interesting pairing. She's like, hey, we were talking about Sue. This isn't fair. But like Sue's like, oh, it's fair. Y'all turned your attention on me. Now I'm turning my attention on you, kiddo. And Jiro's like, ugh, you guys. And Momo's like, I believe that if the other girls do not want to talk about it, then we should respect their privacy, girls. And then Ochako said, I literally okay, Momo. Well, I remember that during the whole sports festival thing, you seem to be very flustered whenever Todoroki had seen you in that cheerleading outfit that Mineta had tricked us into wearing. She's like, hey, that's not fair. I was trying to help the rest of the girls, and now y'all are turning on me. And like, okay, so like it's established. I've made the establishments. Now I'm going to continue, and Sue's like, now that I think about it, I think that Kirishima had reacted to I think that Kirishima was looking at Mina the most, and I definitely saw Kaminari checking out Jiro, and these two, they just start to like pop a bit, and Mina's like, oh, Kirishima was checking me out, and then Jiro started like kind of like playing with her earphones, she's like, as if I'd have a thing for that idiot. And she starts playing with her ear jacks, which is an obvious tell that she's lying. And Momo was very kind of like taken aback by the news that Todoroki like seemed to be very interested in her outfit whenever during the sports festival incident. And I'm gonna say that Ochako just kind of tries to fan the flames, and then goes, girls, we're all girls here, aren't we? They're like, yes. And she's like, then we should have nothing to fear from telling each other. It's not like we're gonna blackmail each other, are we? They're like, no. It's like, okay then. Well, y'all know that I'm with Izuku, and that he is the love of my life. I'm not ashamed of that. No, so under the circumstances, why should you? I mean, Momo, if you have a thing for Todoroki, I'm not gonna judge you. I mean, if you enjoy his personality that much and you find him intriguing, then go for it, girl. I believe in you. I support you all the way. I'm pretty sure that Todoroki will treat you very well. And Jiro, just because Denki is a little bit dense and a little bit not chivalrous, that doesn't mean that he won't treat you well, girl. I'm sure he'll treat you very well. So if you like him, do not be ashamed. Be proud of it, girl. And Jiro is just kind of embarrassed. She's like, oh my god, I'm being lectured, but no. And Ochako kind of like turns over to Sue and puts her hand on Sue, and she's like, and Sue, as your best friend, I'm going to be honest. If you want to go for Tokuyami, then I'ma support you as well. I mean, he does seem to be very smitten with you, from what I can tell and observe. And Suyu kind of like puts her hands to her cheeks, she's like, Kiro, fine, I admit it. I am into Tokoyami. And she's like, I am proud of you, Sue, for being so honest with me. And being really honest with your feelings. And Sue goes, Kiro, this is embarrassing, Kiro. She's like, it's fine, Sue. Be proud of it. And then Ochako finally looks over to Mina and says, are you proud of yourself, Mina? Are you? She's like, what did I do? She's like, you were the first to admit it, but I'm pretty sure that you were the one that had a very the highest likelihood of actually having that boy early on. So you've been missing out. For someone who likes to ship and all that, you are very cowardly. She's like, shut up, Ochako. We can't all have like a very like a dominant boyfriends like you. Like, you do know that my boyfriend is is about as dominant as he is timid, right? It's a give and take situation. You know that for all intents and purposes, girls, I'm gonna be for real with you. That boy is a switch, for real. He is a switch. He flips all the damn time. And Mina is embarrassed by that, and that I like, well, Kirishima is very forward, so if he likes me, then why not go for it? She's like, and Ochako says, Mina, you do realize that you are one of the most spontaneous people ever. That gives off, I'm not going to be tied down by anyone vibes. She's like, and the others are kind of like, not in agreement. Like, yeah, you do kind of give off that energy. She's like, and then like Ochako goes, essentially this whole time you've technically been undermining yourself. And Mina just kind of like hangs her head in shame. She's like, this sucks. And Ochako kind of encouraged her by going, Mina, you do know that like you can like remedy this situation. She's like, how? Call up that boy right now. Call up that boy, and confess your heart out, right to him. I'm pretty sure that he is eagerly waiting for you to make the first move. Because if there's anything I have learned from Izuku, it is the fact that men are very strong and dominant, but whenever it comes to love, they are about as dense and hard to figure out as we are. They second guess themselves, so I'm pretty sure that he's not going to be the one to make the moves that are going to benefit you the most. So it's time for you to put on your big girl pants and tell that boy you want him. And Mina, if it was possible, she would have been redder than ever by this point. But she's pink. There is no going red now. But nevertheless, they continue on and start to gossip about what exactly they like about their respective boys. And the majority of the girls, aside from Ochako, like talk about what they love about their respective boy, and exactly what it is they admire about them, and or technically, Ochako can also talk about Izuku and talk about what she admires about him. Though the only difference is that the others are the ones who are in desperate need of some courage to confess to their respective boys. And yeah, I think that I'm going to leave this part here. I hope you all enjoyed, and don't forget, the shadows are watching.